What's that sound? It's For Amusement Only, the EM and Bingo Pinball podcast. Welcome back to For Amusement Only. This is Nick Baldridge. Tonight I just wanted to go over quickly what's been kind of going on in my world in pinball. For those of you that haven't heard it yet, Nate Shivers over at Coast to Coast Pinball did an interview with me where I talked about the bingo row and kind of the thrill and skill involved in playing bingo pinball. So if you haven't yet, be sure to check that out at coastpinball.com. Now, the other thing that's been going on with me is I joined a pinball league. And if you've been listening for a while, you know I'm not really a competitive pinball person. Or maybe I've never really voiced that on the show. I enjoy hearing about it, but I'm not super intrigued to do it myself as far as playing tournaments and all that kind of thing. So I joined this one that's run by Taylor Reese and another friend here in the Richmond area, and I wasn't really sure, what to expect. So I went out there for the first time this past Tuesday, and I played, all the games that were assigned, and I actually was the highest score for the night. I'm not really certain of how the scoring works, and I was as surprised as anybody else. But I had a great time doing it and talking pinball, and got to try out a new EM that Taylor had brought home, so that was all fun. And it kind of gave me a different outlook on the whole competitive thing, because at least the way I was doing it was more like hanging out with pinball buddies than getting real intense into the competitive aspect. But everybody's different and everybody enjoys different things. I just love fixing up games and playing them. So whatever excuse there is to play games, I'm happy to do it. That said, I'm really excited to go back and see if I can repeat that performance, or if I tumble to my rightful place at the bottom of the stack. But I rose from the F division to the A division, which I guess means that I'm, doing pretty good. So I guess we'll see what happens next time, and I'll be sure to report back. Now, the other thing that's been going on is I've been doing a lot of repair work around town, and I've been working on some kind of lifestyle changes here. Trying to get back into fighting shape. So what that means is that I am less of a night owl than I have been in days or weeks or months past, because I'm just drained of energy. I'm also trying to cut back on my caffeine intake, and that's not helping anything with my night owl tendencies. But I'm still, awake, and I'm still doing things, but I'm just not quite as fast as I was before. So what this means is that working on my own games is going to slow down a bit while I adjust to kind of what's going on. And as far as working on my own games, there's really only two problems that I have remaining. One is that double up drops straight into tilt. I know what the problem is there. The tilt relay has a switch which is super funky, and as I've mentioned numerous times, I just need to go in there and actually replace switches, and I'm I'm debating whether I should just go ahead and order the switches and do that instead of just getting it to limp along until, someone nudges it just the right way, or I move it, or whatever. So we'll see. But that's a possibility. And then Nightclub is stepping up the timer after the game ends, but it's not timing out. Now, on the Nightclub, there's a 40-step timer, so every so often, as is randomized by the cams on the control unit, if you listen back to my control unit timing cams episode, you'll understand what those do. It's essentially just a couple sets of switches on the first two cams, and they step up the timer every so often when the timer has already reached a certain position. Now, that's stepping up, so that circuit's working, but the problem is that it's not actually shutting the game off. So, yet again, I think it's a problem with the tilt trip relay. When I turn the game on, it is in tilt. But, I haven't heard if the control unit is still trying to run. Let me turn it on and see what happens. Well, that was the exciting sound of me grabbing the starter there and firing it up. And no, control unit doesn't run, so it is dropping into tilt properly. So, something is preventing that tilt from kicking in, and I got to find what that is. There's a single switch that's activated when the timer reaches its full extension, and perhaps that's not being activated. I'm not certain how that could be unless the timer's resetting. The timer resets when you play for extra ball. So it's possible that one of the ganged switches behind the coin door for the extra ball button is messed up, and it's causing that to continually reset. I certainly hear it step up. It makes a lot of noise. I have a little bit of cabinet damage in the head, so it's fairly loud at the moment. I'll clamp and glue that at some point. At the moment, it doesn't affect anything, and it's not getting worse, so that's on my eventually list. And then, if you'll recall, several months ago, I did a kind of quick repair on Mystery. That's still holding up for now, but the time has come for me to actually replace that contact, I think, and I'm going to go ahead and replace that whole switch blade, and that should take care of that permanently. And it's such an important switch, there's no reason why I wouldn't go ahead and do that. It just takes time. So aside from that, everything's working good, and I've got everything stripped and cleaned and waxed, and it's all playing very well. I did end up sanding down that Nightclub Varthane repair, so it's very smooth, and I have it leveled even with Gaytime, and both of those are playing very well. So, all in all, I think everything is coming along pretty well, but life intrudes into pinball. So, it shouldn't affect my podcasting schedule. I'll certainly, make an episode if it does, but I don't anticipate that it will. In other news, a listener emailed me with information on several different auctions which are going on eBay right now regarding some warehouse find bingos. At the time of this recording, there's a little over 3 days left in each of the auctions, and there's a variety of 20 holes like London, Mystic 8, Zodiac, along with a few Miss Americas. Now, these are not the Miss America from 1957 from my recent episode. These are Miss America Supremes. But let's see, is there anything else? There's a solid state bingo called Copacabana Beach. There's a Brooklyn solid state bingo. And I'm looking at the Copacabana. It has the Magic Lines feature from Miss America, but the card arrangement is completely different, and it has some unusual scoring opportunities, it looks like. There's an Orient, a Carnival Queen, Hawaii, which is the sister game to my Double Up, Beauty Beach, Tahiti, and there are a couple of one-ball horse race games. Futurity, which I believe was the last one-ball horse race game, and Turf King. There's a Nashville 6-card, and a Miss Universe. Now, each of these auctions is starting at $100, and the games look like they're in relatively decent cosmetic condition, especially the back glasses. The playfield is hard to tell because it's been sitting for a long time, so there's a lot of dust. But it appears, from what you can see, that the colors are fairly vibrant even under the dust. So it looks like they'll probably clean up pretty well. Now, aside from that, they have a lot of bingos. I believe there's 36 of them, which they're selling as a package on pallets. Now, unfortunately, the photographs show the backs of the heads, and so I'm not certain which games those are. I think I see that's either a Golden Gate or a London. There may be some Magic Screen games. OK meaning red letter game. Magic Screen games there, but it's really hard to tell. Honestly, I have no clue. But they're asking $3,600 for the lot of 36 games. And these are in Toccoa, Georgia, which I'm not sure where that is in Georgia in relation to somewhere like Atlanta or wherever. But they honestly look pretty good. They've been shrink wrapped before they were palleted, so it looks like they're probably, as I say, gonna clean up pretty well. Of course, it's really hard to tell looking at only the backs of the heads, but everything looks good as far as I can see. So you got your typical button wear on some of the others. I mean, that's really super typical on routed games. Pretty much all of it appears to have the playfield glass. I'm looking at a Hawaii now. It looks like the glass may be missing. But yeah, the back glasses appear to be very nice on most of these. So I'm going to have a link to the auctions in the show notes, and check those out. So that's all for tonight. I know this wasn't a super exciting episode, but I hope that gives you a little insight into what's going on behind the scenes here. Thank you very much for listening. My name again is Nick Baldridge. You can reach me at foramusementonlypodcast@gmail.com, or you can call me on the Bingos line. That's 724-BINGOS1, 724-246-4671. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, via RSS, on Facebook, on Twitter at Bingo Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at nbaldridge, or you can listen to us on our website, which is foramusementonly.libsyn.com. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.